領域展開。無料空所。
It's your boy Spectro here, and I want to talk to you guys about the Clair, I think it's like Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This game is definitely a true work of art, honestly. This game is special, man. This game really had me locked in. And also, I'm gonna mention it ahead of time. There's gonna be spoilers inside the footage that you're seeing now. So if you guys haven't beat the game, then go ahead and leave this video, because there are gonna be a lot of spoilers in the videos that you see. And I'm also gonna be talking about a lot of spoilers because I just recently beat the game myself, like last week. So yeah, it's been really fun. Honestly, it's been an amazing experience. And also, I forgot to mention this as well. And the footage that you see right now is gonna be a little weird the way it's chopped up, because the original cut I had for this video was an hour long, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm not trying to make a long retrospective video. I'm gonna leave that to the other YouTubers. All right, I'll try to keep mine kind of short, to the 10-20 minute range with these kind of videos. So, but back to what I was saying, yeah, Expedition 33, this game is definitely special, man. This game is definitely gonna leave its mark in gaming history, no doubt about it, because when this game came out, there was a lot of talk about it. I always thought the game looked cool. It definitely was a unique aesthetic, and just not just aesthetic, just the style and the world of the game was definitely not like I ever seen before, especially with the settings, honestly, with the whole like French, like early aesthetic, kind of Victorian looking look, also, but kind of in a slightly futuristic little take on it, because you can tell that while this world is very like early years of like the French days or Paris, it's hard to explain. I like to just call it kind of like the Victoria era, kind of, because this is really what it kind of puts me in mind of. But I don't think this quite fits it completely, but I think it's kind of close into the era. And honestly, it definitely works for this game, because what this game's going on and what the story tries to tell and what it pulls for you in the middle of the game with a big twist, and like that was amazing, man. More games gotta cook like this, and honestly I have to respect it a lot more, because after seeing this game, I'm trying to get a new perspective of what people are saying about Final Fantasy, and I finally kind of gained a new perspective of why people didn't like Final Fantasy 16. I love Final Fantasy 16. I love the gameplay, I love the story, I love it a lot, but I know a lot of people just weren't really fond of it because, you know, it turned away from turn-based. And this game definitely showed that turn-based can be modernized and can be brought back into, you know, current gameplay. It really showed that there's still a lot left in the tank for turn-based games as a whole. And the turn-based in this game is amazing. Just the way you fight, it makes you feel like you're really active inside the battle. So like, it's not like you're just sitting there in one point and taking turns on, you know, you and your opponent, but you know, it's like you're also being very participating in the battle, because the way you dodge and the way you counter, it's so much fun, honestly. And I hope many games adapt this turn-based system, especially Final Fantasy. I'd be really curious to see what Square Enix will be able to do with a turn-based system like this, honestly. But I mean, they do need to get their writing together, you know, get a story cooking like this one, because I'm telling you, man, the writers behind this game are geniuses, man. They was really cooking, bro. All right, so let's get into the story, bro. Let's talk about it, man. I talked about it a little bit. I'll come at the gameplay. Don't get me wrong, I'll come at the gameplay. There's a lot I got to say about gameplay, but like I said, I'm just kind of keep this in like the 20-minute range, so I won't be able to cover every single detail of this game. This is a very long game, surprisingly. I was very surprised how much I had to cut, really, just, you know, just to get like footage for this specific video, because the more I was like cutting footage, the more I came to the realization, like, oh, you know, this is a really long ass game. And like with Gustav, you know, which is the protagonist that you play as in the beginning, and you think he's the protagonist, and then like, you know, he's around for a while, you know. And because the game is quite long, I kind of felt like maybe that, you know, Gustav was in the game for a short time, but he really wasn't. He was around for a while, honestly. And it took a while to actually like process that, because I like I said, when I was going back over the footage and everything, I was realizing like, yeah, I played with him for quite some time before he ended up dying. And I was like, man, that's crazy, bro, because it felt such a short time. And I imagine in universe, I don't think it really been that long. It may have been like, what, maybe a couple of days since Gustav had died, maybe in the game, because I mean, they still was on the continent fighting day in, day out. It may have been like a week or so, or maybe like a week and a half at best. But I don't think that many days have passed since he had died in game, and Verso came into the story and basically took over the lead, which is the true protagonist of the game, is Verso, because this is his world, this is his canvas, you know. And this is basically, you know, well, his original self canvas. And you know, this whole world is inside of a painting. You know, let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about it. But like I said, let's get back into the story of Gustav for a bit, because I don't want to leave my boy hanging, man, because he definitely had a story I was very much interested in seeing, exploring. I definitely was rooting for him to save, you know, all Lumiere, you know, or Lumiere, as I think someone has said. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, Gustav was really on a mission, because this whole Gumaz thing you're introduced to into the beginning of the game is definitely like, I'm gonna be honest, I know not knowing what thought this was basically like everybody getting Thanos snap. Like, come on, bro. Like, I was seeing that and they was all like all sad acting and stuff. Everybody was like, you're about to go and stuff. And I was very curious, honestly, how does this work? Like, what do you mean everybody's about to go? And I did not expect for them to just vanish like that. I'll just be really honest with you guys. I don't know how that was gonna end up, like what was gonna happen to them, but I thought they were gonna get on the ship or something and go to the continent. I thought that was what, like, maybe they were like sacrifices, you know, that was like deemed necessary for the rest of all the citizens of Lumiere. And then that was like how, you know, this whole little tradition came to be. Maybe like the painters was kind of monster or something, like they need to sacrifice people too. I thought that was the case, but I did not think that, you know, people would just be like standing there and they were just, you know, fade away into nothingness. And that right there, that moment right there, bro, like really had me like sit up in my seat. And I'm not kidding, bro. I like real life this locked in. I said, hold on, bro. Did they just get Thanos now, bro? There's no way, bro. And I'm not saying it, bro, just because, like, not saying Thanos is the one who came up with the original erasing people across the all life with the just like vanishing to thin air, but you know, it's the most common thing you think about when you really see something like that. Now I'm be thinking about this now for now, I'll be honest with you. But I was going on and I'm thinking in my head, I'm trying to make sense of it all, because it just felt like there's no way this can be happening. You know, like all of them just gone, like. And the way they made the painter seem like she was just such a like a monster to humanity, a monster who needs to be taken down no matter what. You know, tomorrow comes is what one of the things they always say. You know, they always keep moving forward, even when one of them falls, the other keeps going regardless. You know, and I think that Expedition 33 really does encompass that entire message. Like, they really live that message, because look at this, guys. They literally first get to the island and they all get half the Expedition 33 is gone, bro. It's gone. I genuinely thought that they was gonna have this team here was gonna be like people you're gonna play as and you switch out as maybe. I know Gustav and Mael and definitely Lunev was definitely gonna be characters that play a pretty much important role, but like this guy shows up, he's wearing an expedition uniform. I'm like, whoa, bro, like he's a traitor? Like they got that's a traitor over there? Like, and bro, I'm telling you, I'm locked in, yo, cause it's like this is getting juicier and juicier by the minute, bro. Cause what do you mean, bro, that they got a whole nother trade. So, and then the whole lot of things just keep spiraling in your mind when all these events are happening, because you start asking yourself, this is Expedition 33. And when I first learned about Expedition 33, I thought it was going from 1 to 33. Oh boy, was I fucking wrong about that. Expedition 0 is technically Expedition 100. So it's going back from 100 to 33. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? I don't even I think they might have said it, like explained it that it was going to 100 to 33, but I might have just like not paid attention at that moment. But then I was so baffled, because it's like, bro, so if there's been the expedition members who there's been this many expedition teams that all died on the continent, none of them ever made it back, which that ends up not being true, because technically, as you may, I don't know if you guys ever heard Expedition 60's file on their audio file, where one of them almost made it back, but he died right outside Lumiere. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, the guy literally has swam back from the continent, but he was right there. He died right outside Lumiere, which was insane. I was like, man, his message was right there. He could, if that message had gotten back for Expedition 60, things would have been so much different. This scene also was something very much that had, shocked me. I want to say shocked me, but really had me thinking, because it had me realizing that all these expeditions, just how many expedition members are dead. There's so many of them are dead, bro. What do you do when you see so many of your former comrades are dead like that in a pile like that? What do you do? How do you process that, bro? How do you handle that? Like, even the ones you just came onto the island with are already over there. Like, what do you do, bro? Like, there's so much to take in. There's so much pain, frustration, anger, sadness. Like, you just want to give it all up, because what can you do by yourself? And at this time, Gustav didn't really know much of what he could do. So it's like, man, my boy was going through it, man. He got to the island, he thought everything was gonna go well. They had that little plan that was gonna work as a team, only to come to the realization of, like, everybody's dead. Lunev's come around, they talk about it, and then they basically, he gets back up on his feet. Fast forward, they find Mael in a manner, and Mael meets this mysterious individual who's like a mysterious being. We don't know who he is, he just doesn't talk, it's like one of the mysterious creatures of the continent. And then you also fast forward a little bit more, we get to the Gestrels. Gestrels are hilarious, man. Gestrels are some of my favorite like mythical beings inside of this game, honestly. They're just hilarious how they just love to fight all the time, and they're like, fight me, prove me that you're stronger than me, and I'll give you the secret item. I'm like, okay, man, sure, man, whatever floats your boat, man. And then we go on, and we meet CL. By the way, I also want to mention this: is it just me, or is that CL as a character, she looks just like Ella Purnell? Is that just me, bro? Am I not seeing it, bro? I genuinely thought that she was played by Ella Purnell, and I don't know if they use a face scan, like motion capture for her. Like, I was kind of like, and I looked it up, and it's not her, guys. And it's honestly genuinely surprising how much CL looks like her. Like, I'm not kidding, bro. You put a side by side picture, you cannot tell me, bro, that CL does not look just like Ella Purnell, bro. Like, not kidding, bro. I ain't gonna lie. She's definitely my favorite character, though. I'll talk about her a little later, though. Honestly, though, yeah. So we get up to this part here, right? CL, we keep going on these little adventures and whatnot, and we finally, meet up and get a little clue and going forward. And then what's the name? Roar basically shows up, and he's like, he's there to stop them. He told Mael, because he showed up in her dreams, telling her that, yeah, you need to stop doing this, or you're gonna suffer, you're gonna die. Turn back now, And she didn't, and they kept going forward. And of course, I did not. I'm be honest with you, I knew he was gonna die, and not saying that I foresaw it beforehand. I'm talking like at this moment, like this fight, when this fight started, I knew he wasn't gonna make it, because the way they had already portrayed Renor, like basically in the beginning, is like, he's this guy, he's so fucking powerful, he could wipe out an entire expedition by himself. So like, what chance did Gustav honestly have? Unless Gustav had a really secret like trick up his sleeve that could honestly have got him out of this situation. There was no other way to look at it, man. And like, it was definitely certain the way he looked at her in the fight, and once she did a lot of fighting and everything, and I was doing nothing to him. So it was like, there was no way. There's nothing. Like, Renor basically was determined to get rid of them, and honestly, it's very much interesting to learn why he was doing this. Of course, you don't learn it till way later in the game, but I'll talk about it now because, well, like I said, I'm getting deep into the spoils and everything, all right? So yeah, Renor basically was doing this because that the Paintress was basically trying to save that. She was trying to stop the world being the world Lumiere being destroyed, and that the Roar, which the original Roar from the outside world, was basically like trying to destroy all the entire canvas, try to destroy the world, which is the Gamage. And they're basically, I want to say it's like the fight between the mother, which is the Paintress, and then you have the father, Roar, and then you have the daughter, Alicia, who is Mael's basically her like counterpart in this world. And then you have them fighting, and then that's leading to the whole situation of, people, the Gamage, basically, because they're basically absorbing all the Pictos and energy out of this world, fighting each other all the time, and that is resulting in the Gamage happening, of people basically vanishing, because there's literally the whole world being destroyed from all the fights they kept having inside the canvas. And it's getting to the point now the world's literally falling apart. It's being destroyed beyond repair. And the Paintress was trying to save whatever was left in the world, but at the end of the day, it was still being destroyed. It's still going slowly through destruction. Like, it was still being destroyed bit by bit. You were on the delaying the process, and not to mention, she was still dealing with a whole lot of grief. The family was dealing with a whole lot of grief. And then everything was just, it was a lot to take in, because when it all presented to you, it was a lot of information to process. I did take some time off between that. I think I remember taking like good little 3-day break between. So after I had beat the painters, and then after I learning who Alicia was and learning like what her story is, and finding out that this was all a canvas really blew my fucking mind. Cause I was like, bro, what? And it really had me really questioning a lot of things. Cause one, I find out that they have an older sister. I find out that, well, apparently Alicia is the reason why Verso died, but that's never really clarified upon, honestly. Not even to the very end of the game, it's not even clarified upon. I didn't choose Mael's ending, I chose Verso's ending, but we'll get to that. But like I said, you know, a lot happened. And Clair doesn't have a counter in this world. Now, I find it hard to believe. I think there is one. And currently, I am looking through and I'm doing, you guys can get that footage. I've been doing a lot of extra like side content and stuff, and I'm very curious, what is Clair's counterpart in this world? And I find it very interesting that I have not run into her counterpart, or at least maybe I have and I'm not aware of it. I'm not sure, because you know, my AL is Alicia's. Renoir had his counterpart, which was basically destroying, killing all the other expedition members every time they show up on the continent. Then you had the paintress, who really didn't have one because, well, she's the paintress. Well, I guess yeah, her mom was basically be the paintress. That's her counterpart. And then you had, like I said, Alicia was Mael's, and then everyone else, and then Verso. Well, Verso had a counterpart too, which was basically Verso, you know, and of that world. And you know, it's a whole depressing situation all around. And I know it may seem like I'm skipping over a lot right now, guys, but trust me, it's good reason, because this story is really long, honestly. If I really want to try to get into detail, like I said before, like every single thing, it'll be a lot longer. I may, you know, try to dive a little deeper, maybe with a longer video, but I'm not sure right now. Like I said, there's many things I'm still curious about myself. Like I said, Clair is my biggest mystery right now. Do not tell me that, because I'm currently looking into that, and I think I'm starting to figure that out slowly, bit by bit, but I'll get into that maybe later on in the future video. I just really find it interesting how the paintress was painted as this really big villain of the story, when in fact she was the very thing that was really keeping Lumiere from falling apart, and for keeping, you know, Alicia's father from completely destroying the canvas. She was the very wall that was holding back basically Renoir from basically destroying everything. So it was a lot to take in, honestly. It was definitely interesting, dynamic, and then learning about what happened to the original Verso and why, you know, Verso in this world is like basically so important to the family, and why Verso is also like is making these decisions that he did. And they find out, like, yeah, there's a piece of his soul there, which is, by the way, the boy, you know, the boy that you see that might be talking, like, and he like talks for you a little bit. He talks to you a little bit, and then he just stops. You know, he doesn't talk anymore. Even if you try to talk to me, he just doesn't say nothing. It was just basically the piece of Verso soul that's in there. And also, alright, this game is so amazing, man. This gameplay is so amazing. I love the pictos. I love the tints. I love my favorite aspect of gameplay. I gotta get into the gameplay, big guys. I know I kind of rushed through talking about the story and everything. I know I could expand upon that so much more, but trust me, guys, I gotta get to the gameplay. And if you guys really want to see me go to like a deep thought, you know, explain that process of the story, and just like what my thoughts are on the process of the story, then yeah, sure, I'll make another video just talking about that completely, just separately by itself. But this is kind of like my over like view, and it's a lot, so it's like I'm trying to get everything in there. All right, so like I said, basically gameplay, man, it's really fun, man. The counter parry, man, funniest aspects I ever played in a turn-based game ever. And then also my favorite aspect is definitely just the way you use techniques, the way you like they just have to time your techniques in this game is just like chef's kiss, man. I love being able to time my techniques. I feel like it challenges me to be always on my A game, to be perfect, especially with techniques where you always gotta match them up, where you hit double A, or some techniques you might have to hit it like 3 times to hit it, get perfect, you know, to get the techniques out, just to get the techniques off. And then you want to get it perfect, because if you don't, then it's a good chance you don't get your techniques. And I've definitely made my mistakes, and you know, made my like just messing up doing those techniques, honestly. And then like it was so many fun pictos, like so many different pictos that did so many good things for you. Like some give you, like, you know, like if you beat the painters, you get over 9,000. I think it's like 9,000. You go past that, and you could go way higher, you know. And like I'm not sure what the limit is once you go past that. I have not reached that limit. I'm trying to reach that limit. I have not reached that limit yet, but yeah, man, it was like so much fun, so much to do. It's so much, it's so interesting, because it's really so much different from like how the Final Fantasy games do their turn-based. And then you're like, maybe something like, you think about something like Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, you know, and those are great games, don't get me wrong, but like this game does something special with its turn-based, and I like it. I really do, and I really hope you know, others take take inspiration from this and look into it and be like, yeah, let's try that, like, let's do that. But yeah, man, this game overall, honestly, scale on 1 to 10 is definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. And it's not say it can't be a 10 out of 10. It's just I literally make it kind of a mission for myself not to get nothing a 10 out of 10, because if I had to make a reason why it's not a 10 out of 10, it's because I wish I would have had a chance to play with Gustav more. Honestly, that's probably my biggest regret, is that I definitely didn't unlock all the abilities with Gustav, so I kind of lost him early on, and I never had a chance to really go back and see what his full potential was. So also, I'll give you guys a few of my thoughts on characters and whatnot. Favorite character, CL. I love CL's personality. I like how she just goes with things, even though it's obvious that she's frustrated, angry. She just kind of like resets and kind of like just goes with it, because there's no point in like really turmoil over things that she can't change. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like the video, dislike the video. Tell me what you think, comment below. And if I had anything else to tell you guys, play Expedition 33. I'll catch you guys next time. See you.